Brittany, spring has sprung. It's that Eastery time of year. You know what that means?
It means it's time for another colorful unboxing. Pastel Gems Edition. So we're doing pastel gems today, but I'm wondering what color we're gonna start off with. Sorry, I hit the corner of the box. Let's open the box!
Whoa, it's a good start. It's a strong
green.
start. Yeah. I recognize some of these guys.
Out of the box.
Look at all these.
Green light full.
Yeah, we got like greenish blue, bluish green I'd say actually, bluish green. Oh, look at this guy. It's got a little cube actually. Well, that's not a cube. It's a rectangular prism.
Both of these pieces have like similar, like here's the kind of like botryoidal green main mineral piece, and then you have like these little sugar crystals just on top, you know?
I do know. So this is prehnite, Prehnite.
Yes.
Prehnite. And the fun, hard-edged, cubic, rectangular mineral that's forming with the prehnite is called apophyllite. Yes. And this stuff is pretty colorless and nearly completely clear for a lot of these crystals. The prehnite is very green all the way through, and it forms in these lovely botryoidal masses, like rolling hills. But one thing that I noticed about this prehnite specimen is the underside. Horrifying on the other side. I wonder if this is just because of how it was excavated, but I haven't really seen anything that sort of looks like it was cut into.
It. Yeah, it's probably how it was excavated.
Fun naming fact, prehnite is named after a former commander of the military in South Africa, Hendrik Preen, PRH, minus the ite. And it actually has the honor of being the first mineral named after a human being and not like a god or a deity or something. But then this is not prehnite nor apophyllite.
Either of those things.
What is it?
With the color, as well as the shape, the lovely shape given, we are looking at beryl, but more specifically, green beryl.
Not quite aquamarine.
Or emerald, somewhere in between. I would say it's actually more like aquamarine than it is emerald. Green beryl, its coloration comes from iron. But if you were to, I think if you heat up green beryl, you can get the coloration of aquamarine. For green beryl, while also being a beryl, has the different formation process from emerald, which forms in like hydrothermal veins, but those conditions is like really harsh for emerald. For green beryl, it's not as harsh, so you'll have like a much higher clarity in general than your typical emerald piece. So this continues on with our green box. It just couldn't fit in the other box.
Yeah, okay. Whoa.
You know what, I'll take it out of the box. Da-da-da-da. Da-da.
This looks really, really, really awesome.
That is apophyllite. The same mineral
that's growing
crystals.
on the prehnite.
Yes,
okay.
But this time it's green.
Yeah, and it's terminated as well instead of real cubic and stuff. I love this because it looks like they're sprouting out of a fresh snowfall. I love the translucency and the glassiness of these.
It is very glassy.
Termination points.
So how most, I would say, apophyllite forms is in vesicles of basalt and volcanic rocks.
So apophyllite, the term apophyllite used to refer to like a specific mineral of one kind, but now it's used more like as a blanket term for a group of phyllosilicates.
And why that is the case is because for apophyllite, there's a lot of like kind of like chemical differences for apophyllite. So there's like fluoroapophyllite or something like that, meaning it has like a lot of like fluorine in it. And so instead of being like apophyllite FL, it just sounds a lot nicer to just call it apophyllite than all of its individual chemical variations of it.
That also probably explains why this looks and is shaped so differently to that apophyllite.
They're probably different.
It's a blanket, probably just different chemically.
Exactly. So what color do you think our next pastel color
Pink.
will be? Pink?
Yep, no doubt in my mind.
All right, let's see if you're right. It's pink! Nice. Very good job.
They'll never believe it. Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I've seen oh, hey, look at this.
So Rob, since you got the pink colorite, what do you think these pieces are?
Yeah. Well, I see rose quartz, right? I would, right off the cuff, I think all three of these are rose quartz. But then this is light like amber, and it's also got a lot of conchoidal fracture.
So that's a trick question because guess what? It's
rose quartz. It's all rose quartz.
Yeah.
It's all rose quartz.
It's all rose quartz. So this isn't going to do like anything too fancy, but the light through it is it just glows so much. There's so much light going throughout the entirety of the gemstone. It's pretty nice. When rose quartz is exposed to like heat or light, usually for
a long time,
long periods of time.
Not immediately under a flashlight.
No, not immediately under a
flashlight.
Full
disclosure.
It can like take away some of its like pink saturation of color, but it can be like irradiated back.
Rose quartz is often found in quartz cores, in pegmatites and hydrothermal veins. Quartz is, of course, a silicate mineral. It's one of the most abundant minerals in the Earth's crust, period. I think it is actually number one, if I'm not mistaken.
It's number one.
There's a ton of it, and it comes in loads of different colors.
So the coloration of rose quartz potentially comes of one of two ways. So the first one is from a lot of numerous and like very, very small microscopic fibers of borosilicate minerals, specifically the pink variety of dumortierite. Or the second potential way of how rose quartz is colored is from color centers of aluminum and phosphorus.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, blue. I'm locking in blue.
Okay.
Oh, it's yellow.
You're wrong.
Whoa, check this out. Looks like we got a myriad of things here.
Not one is like the other. Any guesses as to what some of these are?
This looks to me, now it's very included, and I don't normally see it in like this yellow-orange color. But the cubes and the color zoning are saying fluorite to me. And what's really cool about this guy is that it's speckled, it's like sprinkled with a metallic mineral on top. At first I thought it was pyrite, but it looks a little bit browner and it's not cubic. So I amend my guess and say it is chalcopyrite. It's a little fine dust of like metallic mineral.
Cosmic brownies that you find at grocery stores. So you were like spot on with this fluorite and chalcopyrite.
Nice.
We've showcased this one at least like a few times on like previous episodes. So this, as a reminder, is Anglesite, but has like really cool color zoning going on in the middle.
I love that.
This third mineral here, we have yellow Smithsonite. If you happen to know what Smithsonite is, most Smithsonite that you see is in blue.
Named after the same man who created the Smithsonian Museum.
And then lastly here, we have crystallized prismatic sulfur on aragonite.
That was my guess. Oh, it's on aragonite. Okay,
yeah, it's on aragonite.
Cool. Yeah, crystallized sulfur. That's very cool. Did you know that sulfur is the 5th most abundant element on the planet?
I did, but it's still a very cool, fun fact.
Okay, well, did you know that if you melt sulfur, it turns a liquid red?
I did not know that.
Nice. And if you burn it, the flame is actually blue.
I did know that part though.
That's pretty cool.
So you have all of the primary colors. I actually have a small surprise for you that will require the dimming of lights. Now, a lot of prismatic sulfur on aragonite comes from Italy. And those pieces in particular, the aragonite that it's on is very highly fluorescent.
Oh, okay, cool.
Now, this piece, while still being from Mexico.
Yeah, not from Italy.
Not
Does it
from
fluoresce?
Italy. It fluoresces.
A little bit?
A good bit.
Whoa,
now I wish this
check
light
that
was
out.
like a lot stronger because man, oh man, you could see a lot of the fluorescence.
Yeah, it turns
in there.
orange.
Yeah, I wonder. Nah, I think you guys can still probably be able to see the orange of the aragonite coming in.
That looks unreal. It's like all around the sulfur as well. It's like the sulfur is immune or something.
Yeah, I don't think sulfur fluoresces, or if it does, it's very, very weak. But aragonite in general is pretty fluorescent. And like, man, look at the
That's very strongly
orange
fluorescent.
color.
Yeah, that's lovely.
It's crazy. It's like you go to laser tag.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of neon lights.
I want to talk about Anglesite a little bit because I love this specimen. Not only the shape of it, but also when you look at it from some angle, like from the side, it's just totally yellow. From this side, totally yellow. But when you rotate it, boom, you get like this color zone that follows the general outline of the crystal habit. This piece comes from Morocco, but Anglesite actually gets its name from its original locality, which is the island of Anglesite, Wales.
Anglesite, it's a lead sulfate. Most of its composition, by 74%, is lead.
All right, we got
Do it now.
We got another box here.
We do.
Blue.
Blue. Well,
This box
I guess the
contains a
box is
box.
also blue.
That is one cool piece. That's huge. Is it Smithsonite?
Yes.
The varying textures. So you've got these like sharp, brown, rusty blades contradicted by these lovely soft blue botryoidal minerals. Very cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
So we have
I love this mineral.
a bigger,
as
nice
well.
piece
Yeah.
of Larimar.
I think I like Larimar and it sticks in my head because the origins of its name are just so nice. The
It
man
is
who
very
discovered
nice.
it named it after the two things he loves most. His daughter Larissa and El Mar, the sea.
So Larimar is kind of like the really pretty version of pectolite. Only comes from the Dominican Republic. While there are like a few like mines there, it's just only
Only that country. Yeah.
only that country. But there are a few other places for pectolite where
Okay,
it comes
gotcha.
in the world. So one of the differences that why Larimar gets its blue color is that pectolite is a silicate hydrate of calcium and sodium, but how it gets its blue color is when copper substitutes the calcium in it. And then it has this lovely light blue color.
Larimar, unfortunately, has a hardness of only 5, which to me puts it just outside of the like comfort range of everyday jewelry wear hardness. But sometimes it will become more tightly woven as it forms, and as a result, it'll gain a toughness akin to jade, which makes it much better for jewelry wear.
Oh, absolutely. And if you happen to know that the toughness of jade is a lot tougher than diamond.
Very high, yeah, very, very
Very
high.
high.
We have had some really amazing gemstones here
We sure
today.
have.
And you know what? Seeing them all together, I'm like, those are pastel colors.
They are.
I can point them out.
Very springy,
Just
very pastel.
couldn't define them. I think it's time to pick a closer look.
Well, I definitely have a favorite already picked out.
I also have had mine picked out since like box 2.
I just have a feeling it might be the same one.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. I'm glad. I'm glad. This one was my closer look because, I mean, it's just such a magnificent piece. I mean, look at those lovely terminations. It's so glassy and vitreous. And it's just on this nice little blanket of snow, of still life. It's very nice.
I picked the Anglesite because of the color zoning on the inside of it, and I think seeing its color, the perceived color of it change as it rotates will be really cool. And it's also got really cool inclusions internally at the back of the stone. So
does.
let's take a closer look. Brittany, I had a lot of fun today. This was a great theme. Pastels
Pastels.
in spring, groundbreaking. If you guys enjoyed the video as much as we did making it, please leave a comment down below. letting us know what you would like to see in the future. And don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on our future videos.
Thanks for watching.